Okay, good evening again, class. Today we will solve a problem on uh, sensitivity analysis, just to prepare and review you for quiz 3. We will do problem set number 3. So I hope that you can see the screen on the left side. Or better yet, if you have a copy of your problem set so that I can do this later. Uh, so that I can have some space. Okay, anyway, doesn't want to cooperate. So I just make do with this. So you read the problem on the left side. This will be typical, or it will resemble the problem that you will have in the quiz, where you have a worded problem. The decision variables, the stack variables are defined, and you have the model formulated for you, and you have your optimal solution that involves the matrices XB, XN, BN, CN for your optimal iteration. And of course, once you're given XB, XN here, once you're given XP, XN, BN, and CBCN, you should be able to calculate B inverse, okay, B inverse n, CBB inverse n minus Cn, and Z. Okay? Even if I do not give you this portion here, you should be able to calculate this as long as you are given this in the optimal iteration of the revised simplex method. Okay? So I hope that's the first thing that's clear. Do not panic if you're not given this portion here. Okay, you can always calculate as long as you know what the optimal iteration submatrices are. Right? So for simplicity, you're given all of this, and you're asked in letter A, this is problem number 3, you're asked in letter A to find all the right-hand side ranges of the resources and the objective coefficient ranges of all decision variables. So now, I remember telling you that before you start solving a sensitivity analysis problem, you have to understand the LP model that has been formulated for you. Okay? So based on the given, okay, if you just have one quick look, you have 3 products, MJ Orange, Mango, and Guyabano, which utilize 3 different resources, no? 3 machines, Mac 1, Mac 2, and Mac 3. Each of these machines have available hours, okay, here. So therefore, you will see that the available hours of 1080, 900, and 300 were formulated here. Okay? So in this model, you are unable to see the inequalities and the plus symbols and the brackets, braces. So just bear with this. That's why it's good, it's better if you have your copy of the problem set. So you will see that the first constraint is 18x1 plus 6x2 plus 10x3 plus S1 equal to 1080. Okay? So let me just volume here. Okay. So you will see that the 3 resources for this LP formulation would involve Mach 1, Mach 2, and Mach 3 as given by the available hours, no? 1080, 900, and 300. They are all here. So it's a simple model, okay, where you have your objective function coefficients for the 3 products, orange, mango, and guyabano here. And then you have your resources, 3 resources, okay? So once you understand that, you can now determine the right-hand side ranges. So again, if there's no mention, you just use the shortcut formula. So you start, okay? Let's start with the first resource, which is, we call this B1 or Mach 1. Okay, so you can call it Mach 1. So this is your B1. So the problem is telling us to find the right-hand side ranges. Okay, so let's do that. So what is the shortcut method again for right-hand side? What do we need? We need to get the ratios, but what columns do we need? Please answer. Do not type this. Please answer.
Sir, we need the columns in the inverse.
Okay, so what do we call that column in our shortcut method?
In my notes, it's called the CI column.
Again,
CI column. That small letter C.
okay, before letter C, there are two
B
columns kasi that we need. Huh?
B inverse.
Okay, what do you call that column?
Sir, ENC po.
Okay, E and C. So you start off with this, something like this, no? E and C. And
Yes,
then
po, sir.
the E will be coming from B inverse, right? So all you have to do, if it's given, so you'll see here that B inverse is given and there are three columns here. So if Mach 1 is B1, then you get the first column, right? And you copy that. So you have 1/6, 4/3, and 0, right? Correct?
Wait, sir.
Sir,
Parang
isn't
baliktad.
isn't E XB, sir, and C is the B inverse?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, E is, yeah, correct. E is your XB.
Yes.
So good. So E will come from the XB vector, right? Is it given?
Yes, sir. It's in the CB inverse.
160.
There, right. 30, so it's here, right? Okay. 30, 160, and 50. And then your C column will be your B inverse. Okay, so that is where we get this one. I hope it's still visible in your screen. This one. So 1/6, 4/3, and 0. Okay, and then you get the ratio.
Sir, sorry po to interrupt, but in the
Yeah.
problem set po, it's 1, 6, negative 4, third, and 0 po.
Okay, sige. Okay, so that's why it's better to have the problem set. We are not able to see clearly here. Okay, so it means that this one is negative. Okay, so good. So always refer to the original problem set, okay? Okay, always refer to the original problem set. So what's the ratio?
Sir, the ratios are negative 180, the first row,
Okay, negative 180,
then 120 for the second
120,
row.
tama? Okay, and then
And
the
then
last,
blank yung last one because it's divisible by 0. However, there's lower and upper bounds.
so you treat all divisions by 0 as,
Positive infinity.
Positive infinity.
Or
okay,
argument.
positive infinity. Okay. Right? So what is your least negative ratio?
Negative 180, sir.
Okay, so this is your X, and your least positive ratio is
120.
120, right? Okay, so therefore, let's go straight to the range. So this is your, let me write it here. Okay, so for B1, it would be, what's the original value of B1? Just refer to your problem set. What's the original value of B1?
1080.
1080. So 1080 minus 180 less than or equal to B1 less than or equal to 1080 plus 120, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It will
Okay,
become
so you have
900.
your ranges. So 900 less than or equal to B1 less than or equal to 1200. Okay, and we will use this range to solve analysis problems later on. Okay, so next, let's go to Mach 2. That's the second resource, or B2. So we do the same thing, EC and then ratio. So as I've said, your E will not change. That's your XB. And your C this time will be, okay, so if you look here, it will now be the second column of B inverse, tama?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have 0, 1, and 0. And as we mentioned earlier, divisions by 0 are treated as a positive ratio. So 50 by 0 is positive. And this one will be, what's the ratio?
Negative 160.
Okay. Actually, I know naman the ratio. No? I'm asking what the ratio is just so that I know whether you are already familiar. No? Kasi oftentimes during the exam, a lot of students miss out on the negative part, the negative ratio. They just take the ratio. Okay? And therefore, that would render their ranges incorrect. Okay? So, minimum or least negative. Alam ko rin what it is. What happened here? Okay. Minimum would be
Negative 160,
1.
sir.
And since you don't have, since both are positive infinity, then you don't have an upper bound. No? So this one will be your y. So original value for B2 is 900. Okay, what I usually do in the test is I put here the original value. B1 is 1080. B2 is equal to 900 so that I know. Then you subtract 160. Okay, less than or equal to B2, less than or equal to 900 plus infinity. So your ranging will be 740 less than or equal to B2, less than or equal to infinity. Okay, so it's a matter of repeating this. Original value for B3 is 300. Okay, so I hope everyone knows that you just copy this and you go to the last column of your B inverse. Tell me if this is correct.
Sir, no. Dapat negative 1/2. First one.
Okay, negative 1/2 and then
7/3, then 1/6.
7/3 and then 1/6. So ratio will be, tell me,
Positive 60,
okay, positive 60,
negative 480 over 7,
negative 480 over 7,
negative 300.
negative 300. So in the exam, you just follow instructions. Now, if I want it in decimals or in fraction form. Okay, so for this, no, just follow instructions. Okay, so least negative. Last, least negative.
Negative 480 over 7.
So this is your x. And obviously, this is your y. Original value is 300. Subtract your 480 over 7. Less than or equal to B3. Less than or equal to 300 plus your least positive ratio. So your final would be, so 2100 minus 480. That's 1620 over 7 less than or equal to B3 less than or equal to 360. What's 1620 over 7?
231.43.
Okay, just so that we know, 231.43. So this now is your okay, it's your right-hand side ranging. Clear? That will not change, class. That procedure is fixed and final. It will not change. So if you study and if you master the procedure and if you know where to get the values for E and C, okay, and you know how to compute the negative ratio, then you should not make a mistake here, right?
Sir, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Earlier you mentioned that if it's not stated, we can just use the shortcut method. So you're saying that there's
Yeah.
a possibility in the exam that we're gonna have to use the long method to get the RHS or OFCs?
Yeah, the long method is just computing the ratio mathematically by the change in the B or the C, as I taught in one of the recorded lectures. So if the instruction is for you to do the long method, then you have to show the calculation for the change in B or change in C, as we've done. But I was looking through the past exams. I haven't seen one yet that asked for a long method. Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So if you want to perfect the exam and you want to be sure, then you just have to go back to the recorded lecture where I taught you how the long method was done. I guess the reason why professors don't ask for the long method is because of time. These even with the short method, these calculations are lengthy enough now to consume your time. Okay, so let's go to OFC. So it's still letter A, right? So OFC ranging. And we do OFC, objective function coefficient ranging, for our decision variables, no? So what you need to do is you have to go to the optimal solution, optimal iteration, and see which decision variables. When I say decision variables, these are the X's usually, no? Which decision variables are basic and which decision variables are non-basic, because we have separate procedures for basic and non-basic. Okay, so let's do OFC ranging for basic decision variables first. Okay, so let's do this. So what are the basic decision variables? Quickly.
X1 and X2.
Okay, X1 and X2. And what do we call their OFCs?
C1, C2.
Okay, good. This is important, huh? The coefficient of X2 is C2, coefficient of X1 is C1, right? So we have three decision variables. There's X3, but X3 in the optimal iteration is non-basic. So there's a separate procedure for that, no shortcut procedure for that. Okay, so let's do this first. Basic. What two columns do you need? How do you label these two columns? If it's E and C for right-hand side ranging, what is it for OFC ranging?
G and H.
Okay, so you have G and H. So let's do for X1 first. OFC for X1, which means we're actually doing the range for C1. Okay, so now you have G and H, and then your ratio. Where do we get G? I guess if you have already reviewed last week, you already know this. Where do we get G?
It should come from CBB inverse N.
Okay, it should come from here. Okay, this one here. CBB inverse N minus CN here. And then just scroll to the right. You can refer to your, I don't know which one. Is it 0.05, 0.15, and 0.2?
Yes,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Okay. And your H will be obtained from,
B inverse N.
Rows
Okay,
from
so
B
where-
inverse N.
huh?
Sa row po ng B inverse N. Like, depending
Okay.
on where it is placed.
Yeah. Okay, so B inverse N. Where is it?
There, sir. Like
This one. This one, right?
That's the one. But yeah, that's the one.
Yes,
The
sir.
signs are incorrect.
Yeah, medyo.
Okay, so first, let's determine first. We are supposed to get one row from your B inverse N, and that row would depend on the position of X1 in your XB optimal solution vector. So you will see that in this optimal solution vector, X1 is in the third row, right? Positionally, it's in the third row. So, is that clear, class? Third row here. So, since it's in the third row, then you are supposed to get also the third row of B inverse N. Okay? And just tell me the values kasi baka I'm missing the negatives. 1, 6. Is that correct?
It's yeah,
This
1/6.
one?
Yeah, 1/6, 0, and 2/3.
So that's correct.
Yeah.
1, 6, 0, and 2/3. So for the ratio, You have the negative ratio.
Negative 0.3, positive infinity, and negative 0.3.
Negative
0.3.
positive,
then
infinity, and
negative 0.3 again.
negative 0.3. Okay? That's correct, huh? 0.6 of it. Okay. So, therefore, original value of C1, I have to put it here. From the model, what is the original value? It is 3, right? So, what is your U and what is your V? U is the least negative ratio. So since there's a tie, so you have U here, and this is your V. Okay, least negative and least positive. So since original value is 3, then you have 3 minus 0.3 is follow less than or equal to, what do I put? X1 or C1?
C1.
C1, okay? This is the correct. X1 is wrong, okay? And then less or equal to 3 plus infinity. So your final range would be 2.7 less than or equal to C1 less than or equal to infinity.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes,
When does positive, I mean the infinity becomes positive or negative?
which one? Divisions by 0 is treated as positive infinity.
But what if may upper bound siya, pero walang lower bound? Automatic pa
If
negative infinity na siya in that case.
if my upper bound, walang lower bound. If
Yes,
you
sir.
mean if this is positive,
Sir, if both
you mean if these two are if all of these are positive ratios, you mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, automatic.
So in any case, if there is a positive, if lahat positive and there's an infinity, there will be a case where the infinity is negative. Then vice versa.
If there is, again,
If yung nangyari is, let's say, in a case, yung 0.3 naging negative, tas walang positive, pero may infinity, that means walang upper bound, therefore infinite upper bound, yeah?
yeah, like in this case, the upper bound is infinite. You can
Then
increase
if
it
the sides,
indefinitely without changing the optimal solution mix.
okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. So next, we do it side by side. Since the two decision variables are x1 and x2, the two basic decision variables, so we do for x2. And the coefficient is C2. And is this correct? 0.9, the original value? This is the one, right?
Yes, sir. For
Okay. 0.2, right? Coefficient for x2. So we do the same thing. G, H, and then ratio. Okay. And then your G column is always the same. CB, B inverse N minus Cn. Your H, again, you have to choose one row from your B inverse N, and you determine that row from the position of your decision variable x2. Here, x2 is the first entry, so therefore it's the first row. Okay? So you have to go to B inverse N, which is this one, and get the first row. So the first row is 1/2, 1/6, one third.
One half and one third are negative.
What?
One half and one third are negative.
Okay. This one?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay, in the problem set, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you just follow the problem set. So here, you get the negative of the ratio again. So can you give me the values?
0.1, negative 0.9, and 0.6.
Okay. What's U?
Negative
What
point,
is the U and V?
negative 0.9 U and V is 0.1.
Okay, this positive would be between 0.1 and 0.6. 0.1, diba? Original value is 0.9. Okay. So you'll have 0.9 minus 0.9 also less than or equal to C2. Okay, again, this is C2, not X2. Less than or equal to 0.9 plus 0.1. Okay, so therefore the range will be 0 okay. So since you only have two basic decision variables, that's it, no? Those are the ranges for your two decision variables, no? Two OFC ranges. So let's proceed to OFC ranging for,
Sir, I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
Sir, kasi nakalagay po dun sa optimal tableau is yung basic variable mo. Meron kang isang slack. Hindi po ba isasama yun?
Meron kang isang.
Slack. Slack
Hindi
variable.
naman siya, okay, you don't do OFC ranging for slack or surplus variables because they're not part of your objective function, di ba? So wala naman sila doon sa Z equation.
Okay, sir. Noted po.
Okay? So you only do it for decision variables, the X's.
Noted. Thank you po.
Okay? So again, for non-basic variables, there's only one in this problem, and that is x3. And the coefficient of x3 is C3. These are just, I mean, in my scratch paper or in my test booklet, if I'm the one taking the exam, this is just my scratch work, no? And these are just my markers. Okay, these are just my markers to help me know what I'm actually ranging. Okay, so you can have your own style. You don't need to do this. So wait, for the shortcut of OFC ranging for non-basic variables, you need to know whether the objective is max or min, because that will tell you what the shortcut will be. Okay, so if you look at your model, it's a maximization problem. So if it's a maximization problem, it is always negative infinity, no lower limit. Okay? And since you're ranging C3, so negative infinity less than or equal to C3, again, I will repeat, if maximization is always no lower bound. If it's minimization, the shortcut for non-basic variables would be no upper bound. Okay, it would be on the other side. So then you have the original value, which is C3. So I'll put it here. Original value of x3 is 1.5. So therefore, you'll have negative infinity less than or equal to C3 less than or equal to the original value 1.5 plus a certain value that you will get from your optimal what?
CBB inverse N.
Okay, thank you. CB B inverse N minus Cn, which is this one. Okay, the 0.05, 0.15, and 0.2. There are three values here. Which one will you get for this range?
0.2, sir.
It should be
Point
the
two?
0.2.
The third one, because you have to go to,
Because nakapantay siya dun sa XN.
okay, so you have to look at the position of the non-basic decision variable whose coefficient you are ranging. Okay, so in Xn, X3 is the third variable. So therefore, when you go to CBB inverse N minus Cn, the third variable here would be X3 here. That's 0.2. Okay, so again, many students make a mistake whenever the ranging is done for a non-basic decision variable. Because number one, they do not know where to put the infinity. And number two, they do not know where to get the value of G sub J. Okay? So again, this value depends on the position of the non-basic decision variable in your Xn vector. Since it's the third variable, then it should be the third entry in your CB B inverse N minus Cn. And again, for the negative infinity, this happens if your objective is maximization. But if your objective is minimization, then this right side becomes positive infinity, and you transfer this to the left, which is it becomes 1.5 minus 0.2. Okay? So, the final range would be, okay, so it's 1. So we have finished the ranging so far. Okay. Since the problem did not ask in letter A, no, it just asked for the right-hand side and the OFC ranges, we're done. It did not ask for the shadow price. Okay? But if it asks for the shadow price, all you have to do is use the shortcut formula, which we have done in problem set number 2. So in the interest of time, we will just do the shadow price as the need arises, since it's not asked in the problem. Okay, let's go to letter B. Okay, for letter B, another manufacturer is in need of more capacity on Mach 1. He offers the firm 0.5 per hour above its depreciation cost to rent Mach 1 for 100 hours. So should the offer be accepted? So this time, if you look at the model, you have 900 hours of Mach 1. Okay? Another company is interested to rent your hours, which means that you will lose, this one, no? 1,080 hours pala yung Mach 1. Okay? You have 1,080 hours of Mach 1. Another company wants to rent 100 hours of your machine time and is going to pay you 50 cents per hour on top of your depreciation. Kasi syempre, if you lend the machine to them, the usage of the machine constitutes depreciation cost. So therefore, that also has to be paid for. So the problem tells you, it's an accounting concept, di ba? the problem tells you that on top of the depreciation of the machine, the company will receive in cash 0.5 for every hour. And they're renting it for 100 hours, which means that instead of adding resource, adding a Mach 1 hours, you're actually subtracting, right? If you subtract, then will you lose money or not? Will
Or
your
you will
profit increase or
lose-
decrease?
decrease based on the shadow price.
Based on the shadow price, tama? So you now have to calculate, since the problem involves renting out your Mach 1 hours, then you need to know, if you rent it out, how much decrease in your profit for every hour rented out. And you will compare that with what the other manufacturer is willing to pay you every hour. Correct? But first, before you compute the shadow price, you check the ranging. 100 hours mababawasan. So you go to Mach 1 and you will see that you can afford to actually rent out 180 hours. Is that clear?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you rent out 100 hours, you are still within the range, correct? Because you will still have 980 hours, which is within this range. Now, why is it significant for you to check the range first before you calculate the shadow price? Okay,
Because
I've always,
check natin,
yes, go ahead.
check natin if valid pa yung shadow price at that range.
Okay, if your reduction in your resource or your addition to your resource will go outside of this range, then whatever shadow price you calculate from this optimal solution will no longer be valid. So it's a futile effort. That's why before you calculate the shadow price and use it for cost-benefit analysis, you have to check first if it is within your right-hand side resource range. In this case, since 100 hours reduction in Mach 1 is still within the range, then you can compute the shadow price for letter B. So let us compute the shadow price for B1, resource 1. So all you have to do is check out the slack variable associated with the first resource, which is S1, this one. Okay, check whether it is basic or non-basic. Is that clear? So if you look here, okay, if you look here, where is S1?
Non-basic, sir.
Yan, everybody can see that, di ba? So it is non-basic. So what does our shortcut formula for shadow price tell us if the associated slack variable is non-basic? Non-basic means zero, okay? Zero, S1 equals zero means that the left side, which is your products, production of mango, guyabano, and orange, okay, used up the 1,080 hours completely. That's why your S1 is zero, there's no slack. Okay, that's what a non-basic variable slack would mean. So if it's fully used up, then it will have a shadow price, right? But if it is if it is a basic variable at optimum, then the shadow price will be zero. There's no value to add on to it. Okay? So, since it's a non-basic variable, where do you get the shadow price of B1? Which corresponds to your S1. You get it from,
PV inverse N.
yes, if you have studied already, you get it from your CV B inverse N minus Cn. Okay? But there are, again, three values here. Okay? There are three values here. You have to get the one that corresponds to the non-basic variable S1. Since S1 is the associated slack of Mach1 or B1, then you have to get it from the value corresponding to S1. So what is the position of S1 in Xn?
Second.
It's the second. So therefore, since it's the second value, then you get the second value in CB, B inverse N minus Cn. So the shadow price is therefore 0.15 for every hour of Mach 1. That's the additional or the change in profit. Now, the change in profit can be positive or negative. Okay? The change in profit can be addition to it or reduction to it, no? So, when will it be an addition? Profit will increase if,
we increase this constraint.
okay, if you increase 1,080 here, if you increase 1,080 by 1 hour, the profit will increase by 0.15 per hour. But if you reduce, like in this problem, if you reduce your 1,080 hours because you're gonna rent it to another manufacturer, then your shadow price becomes a reduction in your profit. So you will now lose 15 cents for every hour that you lease out. Is that clear? So therefore, with the shadow price, your benefit, okay, since you're renting out your Mach 1 to another manufacturer, your benefit is the payment that you will receive from that manufacturer. How much is the payment? Above the depreciation cost?
0.50.
0.50 per hour, right? And then you will be, the manufacturer will be paying you for 100 hours, which is within the range. So your benefit is equal to 50, right? And this time, your cost is the profit, additional profit that you give up, okay, based on your shadow price. Diba? The reduction in your profit based on your shadow price. So since your shadow price is 0.15 per hour, and this is valid because it is still within the range, 100 hours is still within the range, then you multiply this by 100 hours. It's actually simple calculation. I'm just doing this so that when you review, you know where the values come from. Okay, but we can do this straight, like net benefit is 0.5 minus 0.15 times 100. Okay, so this is 15. So net benefit, so if the problem asks you for the net benefit or net cost, then you do this. You just subtract, right? So 35 is the net benefit for this company, no? Manufacturing mango, guyabano, and orange. So, since the net benefit is positive, what is the question? What is the question? Should the offer be accepted? What's the answer?
It should be accepted.
Okay. Since the net benefit is greater than 0, offer should be accepted. Okay, next.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Why don't we just increase the constraint by 100 hours?
If you increase the constraint by 100 hours, what happens? you're adding to the 1080.
Yeah, adding to the 1080.
But why would you add to 1080? You're actually giving away hours, not adding. You can what you can do is you can go back to the model and subtract 100 hours from 1080. So
So
that will now become 980.
I see. So
Kasi di
basically,
ba, you're renting out the hours. And if you're renting out the hours, it tells you that you can no longer have the same values for X1, X2, and X3 because it will go beyond the 980 hours. If you look at the optimal solution, the values of X1 and X2, these are basic, no? If you add them, 18X1 plus 6X2 will be equivalent to 1080. Now, if you reduce by 100 hours because you're gonna rent out your 100 hours to another company, then this becomes 980 and your current X1 and X2 values will no longer satisfy the new constraint, which is 980 na lang. So what you can do is you can replace this by 980 and solve the model all over again. And when you solve the model all over again, you will see that you will have the same mix of basic and non-basic variables. Same mix, huh? Different values, but the same mix. Okay, and then you will see that your Z, what is your Z here? Your Z is 177. You will see that your Z should be higher. Okay, when you list it out with your new solution, your Z should improve. Okay, that's how you calculate. Okay, but you don't have, again, the purpose of ranging and shadow price is for you not to have to calculate the model all over again, not to solve the model all over again, but perform cost-benefit analysis based on the shadow price. So with this cost-benefit analysis, you don't need to solve to know that your Z will improve by 35 if you accept the offer.
Sir, what we did po ba was add 100 hours to the constraint itself? Or
No, we're subtracting.
we're subtracting? Okay po, sir.
Yeah. You're subtracting. And the difference in Z will tell you what the benefit will be or the total shadow price. Kasi di ba ang definition ng shadow price is change in Z for every unit change in resource, right? So what happens is if you change your resource, this one, so this is conceptual, di ba? If you change your resource by 100 hours, if you reduce it by 100 hours, you would expect that the constraint is tighter, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you reduce by 100 hours, you would expect your Z will be reduced by a certain amount, correct?
Yes, sir.
Oo. So if your original Z is 177, if you change the 1080 to 980, you should be able to get something like 142 for your new Z value. And that is actually captured by your shadow price for as long as it is within the range. Kasi your shadow price will compute the change in Z for every hour reduction or addition to your 1080. Since you're reducing by 100 hours, it will help you compute the change in Z if you reduce it by 100 hours. So resolving the problem all over again will actually help you solve for the shadow price as well. But we don't want to do that because we can make this shortcut analysis and say that the shadow price is 0.15 for every hour. Actually, your reduction pala will just be 0.15. So times 100 hours, 15 dapat. So when you recalculate your Z, let's say you change 1080 to 980 and you solve for the new Z. Let's say you solve it all over again. Your new Z should be equal to how much? 262 dapat. Bababa from 162. Bababa siya from 177, okay? Bababa siya by 15. Ito 'yon. Kasi yan yung cost mo eh. Yan yung reduction dahil sa 100 hours reduction. Bababa siya dapat magiging 162. So, on the basis of that, pag hindi ka babayaran ng manufacturer for the 100 hours, syempre lugi ka. But since babayaran ka ng 50 ng manufacturer and yung change in Z mo, 15 lang, total change in Z is only 15, then you still stand to gain 35. Diba?
Yes, sir.
That's the analysis there. Is that clear?
Slightly, sir. So basically, if we increase it by 100, we're just giving it away lang.
If you increase your resource by 100, that means you're adding hours, Mach 1 hours to your system so that you can produce more of X1, X2, and X3.
I see.
So that you can improve your profit.
Okay, I see.
Diba?
Okay, gets na, sir. Gets na, sir.
Okay. Alright.
So sir, by adding
Yes.
100 hours dun sa 1080, ibig sabihin nun parang nag-add ka rin ng cost. Is that correct?
For the Mach 1?
Yes, sir. Pag
Yes.
nag-add ka po instead of subtracting.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But your cost is already factored in doon sa coefficient na dito sa mga objective function coefficients sa pag-produce ng product mo. Di ba? So if
Opo.
you increase the production, then factor in na doon yung pagdagdag mo ng Mach 1.
Okay, sir. Noted po. Thank you.
Alright? Okay. Sige. So ngayon, letter ano na tayo? Letter C. Okay, letter C. One of the customer comes to the firm wishing to purchase 50 units of MJ Guyabano. Okay? Upon discovering that the firm, kasi yung MJ Guyabano, X3 yun eh. Okay, so letter C, a customer wants to purchase MJ Guyabano. Ano bang nakasulat dyan? 50 units daw ang bibilhin. Upon discovering that the firm does not produce any of it at the maximum profit position, the customer offers the firm enough so that the profit will not be reduced. How much should be the increase in price will the customer be paying? How much increase in price will the customer be paying? So if you look at the question, it involves increasing the price. So ano ang naapektuhan? That's the first thing that you have to think about. What is affected? Okay, what is affected by that question? Is it the right-hand side? Is it the objective function coefficient? Or is it the constraint? Tatlo lang naman yan. Or is it an addition of a new variable?
Sir, ano po yun, sir? We're answering letter C po na, sir.
Yeah, letter C. Letter C, yes.
The customer should at least increase by 0.2 on my answer.
Okay, so from the question, how much increase in price will customer be paying? You should know that it is the objective function coefficient that is affected, right? Kasi increase
sir.
in price eh. Di ba? So it does not increase your resources, your right-hand side. it does not increase your constraint coefficients as well, or it does not change your constraint coefficients or constraint as well. So what is affected here in letter C is the objective function coefficient of MJ Guyabano, which is diba?
Which is-
C3, which is the coefficient of X3. And you know that X3 is the units of MJ Guyabano. And you also know that X3 is a non-basic variable at optimum, right? So it's not being produced. Or another way to state it is that after going through the objective function coefficients and the constraint coefficients, the company deems it unprofitable to produce MJ Guyabano. Now, here's a customer who wants to buy 50 units but realizes that the company is not producing it. Now, the reason why the company is not producing it is because this objective function coefficient here of 1.5, although higher than the contribution of product 2, which is MJ Mango, okay, is not profitable enough based on the constraint coefficients. Okay, so based on the constraint coefficient of 10 for Mach 1 and 4 for Mach 2, okay, this profit is just not worth it compared to the profit given by product 2. So now, if you're the customer, you have to find a way to make the manufacturer produce this product para may mabenta siya sa'yo. So it has to be attractive to the company to produce. So now, we look at the ranging for C3. Okay, what does it tell us? Right now, it's non-basic. So for it to become basic, for the company to produce it, you have to look at the range for C3 here. The current, as you can see here on the left side, it's 1.5. The current is 1.5. So this range tells us that for 1.7 and up, or anything higher than 1.7, basta your threshold value is 0.2, then it can change your optimal solution mix. Okay. Ang interpretation lang naman dito is kapag nagdagdag ka ng 0.2, okay, nagdagdag ka ng 0.2 sa profit margin ng MJ Guyabano, nasa borderline ka na 1.7. So chances are, when you recalculate CB, B inverse N minus Cn, magsi-zero na yung isang coefficient. Okay? And which means that it can become an entering variable. So basically, this is a conceptual question, letter C. Okay, it's just a conceptual question. How much should the profit contribution be so that X3 becomes basic from a non-basic variable? Okay? So all you have to do is look at this range. So what should the increase in price be? If you increase the price by 0.2, we don't know the cost. We're not given the cost. But assuming that the cost is constant and you increase the price by 0.2, then profit margin will increase by 0.2. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if profit margin, which is your C3, will improve by 0.2 to 1.7, you know from the range that the optimal solution mix will now change. And it will now include x3 because x3 will now become the entering variable. So you can try this, di ba? You can try in the optimal solution here, as I've said, for changes in objective function coefficient, and if it's non-basic like this, C3, only CB, B inverse N minus Cn will be affected. Okay? B inverse N and Cn are affected, and therefore this quantity is affected. So you can try recomputing, okay, for the new optimal solution. Okay, but again, you don't need to do that in letter C because the only question is how much increase in price will the customer be paying? So another way to state this question is how much increase in price will it become worth it for the manufacturer to produce MJ Guyabano or X3? And we know from ranging that so long as this one goes out of range, then a new optimal solution mix is expected. And this new mix will now include this otherwise non-basic variable in our present optimal solution. Okay, so therefore the answer here is just increase in price of MJ Guyabano should be at least 0.2 for X3 to enter the optimal mix. And be when you say enter the optimal mix, it means that it will be produced. Actually, several students asked me about this problem already, and we did a check already if 50 units will not make the model solution feasible. So we did that already. So as I've said, if you want to check if the new optimal solution would produce enough of X3 to supply the 50 units, then you can do that. I sent that solution to someone. I don't know. I think it's Sander through email. But yes, when we checked it, the new optimal solution will have X3 to be more than 50 units, which means that if you include it in the optimal mix, you would have or you would produce enough of X3 to supply to this customer. Okay?
Sir, for the exam, do we need to check po or okay na po tong ganitong solution?
If tinatanong lang how much the increase in price is, okay na to. Okay? Any questions? Go to letter D. Okay, so suppose that Mach 3 breaks down on certain occasions. So Mach 3 naman tayo. So this time, the concern is Mach 3 or this is P3. So if Mach 3, so what maximum percentage breakdown could be afforded without affecting the implementation of your current optimal solution? Okay? So how do you solve that problem? So Mach 3. So you go to this, right? This is your ranging. The question is about what maximum percentage breakdown. What does a breakdown do to a machine?
It stops production.
Stops production, and therefore, if it stops
Decrease.
production,
Decrease its R's.
increase,
Decrease.
it decreases the R's, right? So you now, when you look at the range for Mach 3, you have to look at the reduction side, right? The left side. So the question is, what percentage breakdown or reduction in number of hours could be afforded without affecting the optimal solution? So how do you compute that? So ilang hours ba ang pwedeng mawala without affecting the present optimal solution mix?
Sir,
487.
480 divided by 7.
40 over 7.
Okay, 480 over 7, right? So that's the number of hours that you can afford to lose due to breakdown. What is the total hours that you have now? Kasi percentage eh. Percentage breakdown eh. So there has to be a denominator, right?
Sir, 300.
Okay, 300. So max percentage breakdown allowable should be equal to, what was that again? 480. 480 over 7. So that's the reduction in hours that is allowed divided by the total hours that you have originally, which is 300 hours. Ano ba? Yeah, 300 hours. So what is this equal to?
Uh, 22.86%.
Okay. So can somebody confirm? 0.2286, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So therefore, you can afford a 20%, 22%, 23% breakdown percentage, no, for Mach 3 and still operate within your optimal solution mix. Okay, that's what it tells you. So as you can see, these questions may be conceptual in nature, but it also helps you see the practical application of the ranges and the shadow prices that you compute. Okay, and it helps you in making decisions. No? Like for example, if your historical breakdown rate for this type of machine is over 30%, then you know that at any point in time, you cannot preserve your solution mix because this machine is bound to break down. So you can make use of this for making decisions in the future regarding your operations. Okay, let's go to letter E. I'm sorry, I'm rushing now because 7:37 and we still have 3 long sub-problems to solve. Okay, management wants to introduce a new product line. Okay, so when you read the problem, you always have to ask yourself, which one is this problem affecting? Is it affecting my right-hand side, my objective function coefficient? Is it adding a new variable to my system? Is it adding a new constraint to my system? Okay, what is this problem doing to my original system? Okay, so management wants to introduce a new product line. So when you introduce a new product line, MJ Calamansi, you see that you're adding a fourth product, correct? Correct, class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have 3 products already. You're adding MJ Calamansi, which is a fourth product. And you know that each product, if you understand the model, each product is one decision variable. So if you add a fourth product, then you will have a fourth decision variable. So I put here E, adding a new product MJ Calamansi, which we will denote as a new variable, X4. So therefore, this is the addition of a new variable. This problem is addition of a new variable. And if you have reviewed, you have to go into
CBB
your analysis.
Yes.
So what do you do when you have a new product or
assume
when
it's
you have a new
non-basic.
variable? Assume,
Non-basic.
okay, X4 to be a non-basic variable. That's what you have to do. And if you assume it to be a non-basic variable, then only your CN, N, and XN will be affected, right? So your XN, so again, you take off from your optimal solution. Okay, you take off here where your XN is S3, S1, X3, and you add another one, which is X4. And then your CN from your optimal solution is 0, 0. So this is S3, S1. The coefficient of X3 is 1.5. And since you're assuming, sorry, baliktad. This is 1.5 since this is X3. And since you're assuming X4 to be the fourth non-basic variable, what is the coefficient in the problem of MJ Calamansi? If the variable cost per unit is 2.2, how much should it be priced if management wishes to manufacture MJ Calamansi profitably? Okay?
Ginawa ko sir X minus 2.20.
Yeah. So you can do, the coefficient here can be, let's just do P for price, minus 2.2. Okay, so let's read the problem first. MJ Calamansi uses 12 hours of Mach 1, 6 hours of Mach 2. So those are the coefficients in the constraint, no? 12, 6, and wala na. It doesn't use Mach 3, so 12, 6, and 0. Okay, if the variable cost per unit is 2.2, how much should it be priced? So ito yan, no? What should be the price? Here. Okay, should be the price. Sana ba ako?
Ginawa
How
ko
much
sir
should it be
CBB
priced
SL.
if management wishes to manufacture MJ Calamansi profitably? Okay, so you have to calculate CBB inverse N minus CN. If the variable cost per unit of MJ Calamansi is 0.7 and it is to be sold at 1.2, would you suggest producing the new product? What is the new optimal solution? Okay, so there are two questions to be answered here. The first one is up to this one. Okay, up to this one, from profitably. Okay, how much should it be priced if management wishes to manufacture? So you have to get your N. So again, your N matrix will consist of S3, S1, X3, and X4. So for your N matrix, the original, I don't know if this is correct. Can you tell me if 001 is okay? 100 is okay. Is this correct? 1004.
1004, yes, sir.
Okay,
And
that's the original.
1260.
Okay, this is the N matrix in your optimal iteration. Now, since you're adding a new non-basic variable into the optimal solution, you're assuming a new non-basic variable in the optimal solution, you have to add the coefficients of MJ calamansi, which is the new product, letter E here. Yung 12 hours is for Mach 1. 6 hours for Mach 2. Ito yan ha. I'm looking here ha. 12 hours of Mach 1 per unit ang kailangan mo. So that's the constraint coefficient of X4 for Mach 1. And the constraint coefficient for Mach 2 would be 6 hours. Walang Mach 3. So on the basis of this, you will now be able to calculate your CB B inverse N. So yung B inverse N ninyo, from this one, madadagdagan kayo ng isang column. So you now have to get B inverse times this fourth column to get the fourth column here. So this is what you want to do. Okay, asan na ba yung CB? CB is here. 0.90 and 3. Okay, your B inverse N, can somebody please dictate to me? Copy lang ito eh. Okay, tama ba yung sign? 1/2? 7
Negative
over
1/2.
3. Okay, negative 1/2, 7 over 3, and
1/6.
okay, and then 1/6, 4
And
thirds,
then, yeah.
0,
Negative 4/3 nga. Negative 4/3.
negative 4 thirds, and 0. And then you have
Yes.
1/3,
Negative 1/3.
negative 1
4.
third. What? Negative 4?
Negative 4. Negative 4, yes.
Negative 4, and
then
then
2/3.
2 over 3. Okay, class. It's important to note that this is your original B inverse N, which I copied lang. Okay? But you know that since your N, there was an added column here, your B inverse N will also have an added column. So all you have to do is multiply the B inverse at optimum by your fourth column. Okay? Is that clear? So
Yes.
first row times this. Are these coefficients correct? Or may negative din na na-miss out?
May negative po, sir. Pero yung nakuha kong B inverse N, yung last row, ay last column is 2, negative 10,
Okay.
and 0.
Okay. 2, negative 10, and 0. So how did you do that? You got 1/6 times 12, that's 2, plus 0, plus 0. So multiply nyo tong row na to by the added column sa N para makuha nyo yung added column sa B inverse N. Naintindihan ba, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay? Yung iba, isa lang sumasagot eh. Yung iba, naintindihan ba?
So sir, you multiply the current
Original
optimal.
B inverse,
Yes, sir.
current optimal, from the optimal solution, the original B inverse, kasi this one is not affected eh. Basic kasi to, di ba? This
Yes,
is
sir.
not affected. What is affected is your N. So when you get your B inverse N now, it's no longer at 3/3. Because your capital N is now 4 columns, dapat yung B inverse N mo, columns na rin. Di ba? So
Opo.
madadagdagan ka ng isang column, and how do you get the column? First row times this will give you 2. And then second row, if the signs are correct, times this should give you -10. Okay, so tingnan natin. That's 4/3 times 12, that's 16. Plus 6, that's 22. Plus 0, so may mali. 6 minus siguro tong 4/3.
Yes, sir. Minus siya.
Okay, minus to, di ba? -4/3 times 12 is negative. Yan ba yan? -4/3 times 12 is -16.
-16. Yeah.
-6.
-16, sir.
-16.
Divided by 3
Then
is
1 times 6 is +6. So that will give you
Yeah,
-10. Okay, and for the third element here is the third row times this new column. So 0, 0, and 0 will give you 0. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So,
bale, yung
So
ano,
you now have
X4 lang po.
CBB inverse N minus, wait, minus your CN, which is this one. 0, 0, 1.5, and basically, you can assume this to be an unknown quantity. Then let's solve it na lang later, but it's P minus 0.2.2. Okay, so this unknown quantity should be P minus 2.2. Okay, so now, hold on, I'm running out of battery. Hold on. Okay, sige. I just try to finish this one. Wala na. Napagod na yung ano. Sige. So, you now have to calculate CBB inverse N. Okay? You multiply this. So, you'll have, so you follow this pa rin ha. Saan ba yun? CBB inverse N. Meron ba dito? Wala, no? It's easier to visualize kasi if you multiply these two matrices. So, let's multiply.
Wala, sir.
Wala eh. So, multiply
Sir,
natin.
yun, sir. 0.05, 0.15, 0.2.
That's minus CN na kasi eh.
Yung before po ba, sir?
Yung before.
Yeah, yan yung 0.001.5.
0, 0,
Hindi,
minus
sir.
0, 0,
Yung-
1.5. Hindi. I
yung
want CBB inverse N.
CBB inverse po. Sir, wala. Sa
Paki-multiply nga to, quickly. Meron naman kayong, kaya ba ng calculator to?
Ay, joke lang, sir. Meron pala. 0.05 sa CBB inverse N. Meron ako, sir.
Okay. You can do the reverse. So CBB inverse N minus CN is equal to, dapat apat yan ha.
0.05,
Okay, 0.05,
0.15,
0.15, and then
1.7,
1.7. 0.15, 1.7, and
plus
then,
1.8. Yung last one.
okay, 1.8. Right? So ito lang yan ha. Pag binultiply mo ito at saka ito, you will get this. And then you subtract 0, 0, 1.5, parang, tama, 0, 0, 1.5, and then this one is your P minus 2 point. Okay? So again, ang ginawa lang natin, dinagdag natin yung constraint coefficient ng bagong product, X4 sa N. Okay? Dinagdag natin yung profit contribution ng X4 sa CN. Dinagdag natin yung X4 sa XN. And then we calculated CBB inverse N. CB, ito, walang change sa CB. B inverse N, nadagdagan ng isang column because nadagdagan yung N ng isang column. And then minus CN, pinopya lang natin to. Okay, and then solve for this, multiply nyo to, you get this, subtract this one. Okay, now the condition is for the first question, how much should it be priced so that MJ Calamansi will be produced profitably. Ibig sabihin, dapat maging entering variable si X4. Tama? Right
Yes,
now,
sir.
the fourth variable here, this one, pag sinabtract mo, right now, it's a non-basic variable. Now, for it to enter the optimal mix and be produced, this one, since it's a maximization problem, should produce a negative coefficient. Tama? Para maging entering variable, di ba, dapat negative. So if I subtract 0.05 minus 0, that's 0.05. If I subtract 0.15 minus 0, that's 0.15. If I subtract 1.7 minus 1.5, it's 0.2. And that brings you back to your original optimal iteration, 0.05, 0.15, and 0.2. But when I subtract this, okay, this has to be less than or equal to zero for it to enter the optimal mix. Tama? So what
Yes,
should be
sir.
the equation?
1.8
Okay, 1.8. Okay, ito yun ha. Okay, this one and this one. Isa-subtract mo yan eh. Oh, minus mo yan. So 1.8 minus
minus 2
okay.
point, no.
Minus okay, quantity, di ba?
Quantity minus 2.
Minus 2.2 should be less than or equal to 0. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Naging na to. So, okay. So, solve for P. Ano dapat yung price mo para ma-produce, para maging entering variable to? Less than or equal to 0.
Should be 4, sir.
Wait lang ha. Just para sa notes. For X4 to become EV, entering variable, and enter the mix, di ba? So this is now your working equation. So solve for P. P should be, so lipat sa kabila. So 1.8 minus negative 2.2 is 4, right? Tama?
Yes, sir.
1.8 minus negative 2.2 is 4. And then that leaves you with negative P. Lipat sa kabila, less than or equal to P. So therefore, your price should be greater than or equal to 4. Para kapag greater than or equal to 4 yan, itong 1.8 maging 0 or negative. Pag mas malaki siya sa 4. Okay? Any questions? So ito na yung answer sa first question. What should be the price para maging entering variable yung X4 at ma-produce siya? So for any price that is 4 or higher, okay, this quantity here will become negative or non-positive. So if it's non-positive, then X4 can now become entering variable and you can iterate and continue until optimally. Okay? Next. If the variable cost, so dito nagbigay na siya, variable cost of MJ Calamansi is 0.7 and it is sold at 1.2, so what would be C3? If DC is equal to, dito tayo class ha, we have answered this already. Yung to produce it profitably, dapat price should be greater than or equal to 4. Next, narito na tayo. Variable cost per unit is 0.7 and it will be sold. No? Selling price is equal to 1.2. Therefore, profit contribution of X4 is equal to C4 is equal to what? Wala na energy yung 18 participants ko.
Sir, di ko
Ah.
na-solve yan.
So for the second problem, given na yung variable cost nung bagong product, 0.7. And given na rin yung selling price, 1.2. So what's the purpose of this given information? Mako-compute nyo yung bagong coefficient, tama? Yung objective function coefficient. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Because profit contribution is selling price minus variable cost, correct? And therefore, that should be equal to 0.5. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hindi pa rin siya mag-enter.
Okay, so if it is 0.5, okay, this will be 0.5. Tama? Ito yung ano eh. Ito yung nagbago eh, di ba? So hindi natin i-change ito. This will remain the same. So ang mangyayari, your CB, taking off from our calculations earlier, CB, B inverse N minus CN, new, okay, will be equal to, balik ko lang yung calculations kanina, 0.05, 0.15, okay, ito yung CBB inverse N, 1.7, and then 1.8, okay, minus CN, tama? CBB inverse N minus CN. Your CN is 0, 0, 1.5, and this time, alam mo na yung CN, yung C4. It is 0.5. May value na. Okay? And therefore, if you compute, you will see that this is 0.05, 0.15, 0.2, which is our current solution, right? Without the new product. And with the new product, this is 1.3.
Not profitable.
So you will see that it is still, ano, class, nakita niyo ba?
Not profitable, sir. Dito
Oo,
sa
nakita nyo na still optimal eh. So your CB, B inverse N minus CN new is equal to this. And the conclusion is still
Still
optimal.
optimal. Yes, sir.
Okay, so ano bang tanong? Would you suggest producing the new product? Okay, so the new product, so parang ganito yung sagot nyo, di ba? If C4 is equal to 0.5, which is what we calculated here, C4 is 0.5 based on this given, it is not profitable to produce MJ calamansi. Okay, so that's for letter E. So tinatanong, what is the new optimal solution? So if it's not profitable to compute it at 0.5, then the optimal solution remains the same. That's the answer. So, lagay ko na rin. Minsan kasi may mga question na ganyan, no? What is the new optimal solution? So akala ng student, may kailangan siya i-solve, no? Pero ano lang naman, same lang.
Sir, question lang po.
Yes, go ahead.
Sa P greater than or equal to 4, shouldn't it be like P greater than 4 para maging negative yung S4 na column?
Yes. Yes. P greater
Kasi
than
pag zero po siya, hindi,
Hindi, pag
kailangan
zero
greater
kasi
than,
pag equal to 4 kasi, ang mangyayari zero siya, di ba?
yes po.
Tama? Ang mangyayari pagka 4 siya, magiging 1.8 minus 1.8 equal to 0. Tama? Pero di ba sabi natin, kapag yung objective function coefficient ng non-basic variable ay 0 at optimum, you can make it your entering variable. Ibig sabihin kasi may multiple optimal solution ka, remember?
Yes po, sir. Okay, thank
So
you.
therefore, kahit na 4 siya, pwede pa rin gawing entering variable yung x4. Mag-enter pa rin siya ng mix as an alternative optimal solution.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So that's letter E. So siguro since 8 o'clock na lang, 8 o'clock na, ilan pa ba kayo? Willing to stay on?
Yes, sir. May question din ako about duality later, sir.
Sige. So, F, I don't think I can finish this pala. Kahit naka-charge na siya, nababawasan siya. So 7% na lang ako ngayon. So hanggang sana lang abutin. Letter F. Suppose that the company wants to monitor the quality of their products such that all products have to pass through a quality control section. This section has 80 hours available. So from the first two sentences, what do you think is happening or what change is happening to your present system?
Sir, are you changing adding another constraint?
Yes, correct. Adding another constraint because you will see that in addition now to your Mach 1, Mach 2, and Mach 3 machines, you are now adding another resource, which is the quality control department. And your indicator there is that this section has 80 hours available. So every time you have a resource or you're adding a resource, then that means that you're adding another constraint, a new constraint. So what happens? This section has 80 hours. Each MJ orange requires 1 hour of inspection time and so on. So each product would require a specific time for inspection per unit. Okay? So we now have to formulate the constraint. So what is the new constraint? If there's addition of a new resource or constraint, what is the new constraint?
Sir, one times
Formulate muna natin.
okay, sir.
1 times,
1 times x1
okay, orange is x1. Ano? Sige. 1 times x1 plus
plus 1.2 times x2
1.2 times x2 plus
then 0.5 times x3.
75 yata. Ano?
Yes, sir.
0.75 times x3. So this expression would now give you the total hours of inspection time consumed by the three products x1, x2, and x3, no, based on the coefficients given to us. And that should be less than or equal to the available hours. Ilan yung available hours?
80, sir.
Okay, 80. Okay, so addition of a new constraint. There. So, what to do? Ano sabi natin sa procedure natin? You check, if you have a new constraint, you check the present optimal solution, yung XB. Ito, check nyo to. X1 is 50, X2 is 30. Substitute nyo sa constraint if it satisfies or not. Naalala nyo yan? Tama?
Yes, sir.
Naalala nyo ba yun?
Yes,
Okay.
po.
O hindi nyo pa naaaral? Sige. So 1 times at the present optimal solution, teka, let go. Kaya matagal ako sa sa recorded lecture. Have to write everything. So at the present solution, one times x1 is 50, right? And then plus 1.2, x2 is 30, you substitute lang. Plus 0.75, x3 is 0. Is it less than or equal to, so there's a question mark there, 80. Okay, so if you calculate 1.2 times 30 is 36, so the left side is 86. It is not less than 80. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Do you follow,
There's a
class?
Yes, sir.
simplex.
Yes, po, sir.
Okay, so it means that constraint, new constraint,
Not satisfied.
okay, is not satisfied. By the current optimal solution. So if the new constraint is not satisfied by the current optimal solution, that means you have to set up your tableau. Okay, you have to set up your tableau. And your tableau will come from your present optimal solution. No? So you have to set it up. X1, X2, ilan na ba products ko? X3, tatlong products lang, di ba?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
tatlo lang po for
Then
now.
you have, okay, I have 5% left. Pray that we at least finish this. S3, and then, okay, solution. Ilan ba yung S3 ko? Tatlo lang muna, di ba? Then, set up muna natin yung present. Okay? So, Z. And then, what's the basic variables? X2, S2, X1. So, with the current, okay? Saan natin kukunin, class? Okay. X2, X1, basic. S2, basic. So, these two are non-basic. This is also non-basic. These two are basic. This one is basic. So, alam na natin, di ba? Ano dapat coefficient ng X1, X2, S2? Quickly, I have 4%.
Zero.
Okay, sir.
Okay, 0, right? And then this one, 1, 0, 0, tama?
Yes.
Okay.
0, 0, 1.
0, 1,
0, 1,
0. And then your X1 will be 0, 0, 1, right?
0, 1.
And then where will you get your, this one? X3, S1,
Yung
S3.
Galing sa B inverse.
Ito muna. Ito.
Sa X3, asan sa XB? Wait lang.
Ano ilalagay ko dito?
Si X3, sir, nakalagay dapat is
CBB
negative 1
inverse
over
and
3. Yeah, CB
Dapat
inverse.
si B inverse N minus Cn, tama?
Yes, sir.
So, titingnan nyo lang kung ano yung Xn, yung position. S3 muna, then S1, then X3. So, S3 muna, so that's your 0.05. Okay? And then, S1, that's your 0.15. And then yung last variable mo doon sa xn is x3 eh. So that is 0.05. Is that
0.2.
clear?
Sir, 0.2.
0.2 ba?
0.2, sir, 0.2.
Okay, sige. 0.2. Okay? That's clear. And then, ang ilalagay nyo naman dito, same din, yung B inverse N naman. So, unahin nyo yung S3. So, sa B inverse N, dictate nyo sa akin. Ito yun eh. Okay? Ito yun. Okay, so first column would be your S3. Negative ka mo,
Should
di ba?
be negative 1/2.
Go.
7/3.
Okay,
1/6.
1/6. And then, second column nito is supposed to be S1.
S1.
Ano to?
1/6. Negative 4/3. And 0.
Okay, next.
Then, last is negative 1/3.
Dali okay. Negative 4/3. And then next, last is negative
Negative
1/3
1/3. Negative 4.
and
Then 2/3.
2/3. Okay, so you can convert the decimals into fractions. So 0.2 is 1/5, right?
Yes, sir.
This is 3/20.
1/20.
Tandaan nyo ha,
3/20.
1/5, 3/20.
Then 1/20.
1/5, 3/20, and then this one is 1/20.
1/20.
Your Z value is 177. Your X2, 30, 160, and 50, right? Now, nagdagdag ka ng constraint. So this one, in standard form, will now be, magdadagdag ka ng isang slack. S4 equal to 80. Tama ba?
Yes.
Okay. So this is now your new constraint in standard form. So since you added a slack variable, then that slack variable will now be treated as a basic variable kasi madadagdagan yung basic mo pag nagdagdag ka ng constraint. So, ang gagawin nyo, just like what we did earlier, yung S4, lalagay nyo rito. Tapos, dadagdag nyo yung S4. Kasi yun lang yung bagong variable na dagdag with the introduction of a new constraint. So, every time you're adding a constraint, your number of basic variables will increase by 1. Kaya, sa basis column, dadagdag nyo yung S4, tapos dito. So, lagay na natin yung coefficient. This one will be 0, 0, 0, 0, and 1. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
yes.
then the constraint that you add is 1, 1.2, 0.75, or sorry, that's 3/4. What is 1.2? 6/5.
6/5, sir.
Okay. 2% left. 6/5. What is the third one? 3/4.
3/4, yes, sir.
Okay. And then 0, 0, 0, 1, and then 80, right? Okay. So you will see that you have a simplex tableau. However, it does not comply with the tableau requirements kasi ano ba dapat? Pag basic variables, dapat 1, 0, 0. This one should be 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Tama? And then, next is S2. 0, 1, 0, 0. That's correct. Next, X1. 0, 0, 1. This one should be
0.
0. And then S4, 0, 0, 0, 1. So that's correct. So in other words, you have a simplex tableau that does not comply to the tableau requirements in terms of identity matrix ng basic variables. So, what you have to do, instruct ko na lang kayo, 1%. You have to multiply. This becomes, if you want to change this to 0, itong first column element na to, you have to use this one as your pivot row. Multiply this whole row by -1 and add it to this para maging 0 to. Is that clear? And
Yes,
then
sir,
para
yes,
maging 0 naman to, you have to multiply this one
by -6
X-
fifths.
by -6/5 and add it to this row para maging 0. Okay, so what will happen is after you do that, you will see that the iteration becomes super optimal. So
Yung
you
dual
proceed,
simplex.
you proceed with dual simplex to solve for the optimal solution.